8 rappers no one wants beef with. Rap beef is one of the most unique and fundamental elements of hip-hop music. Very few other musical genres bring behind-the-scene drama to the public eye and immortalize it on tracks. However, not only does this happen in rap, it has created some of the most iconic moments in hip-hop history. Rap beefs vary in nature from playfully competitive to life-threateningly serious, and one is bound to influence the career of those involved. However, there are a small number of rappers who have developed reputations so big that most of the industry doesn't dare to attack them. For some of these titans, it's because their lyrical skill and penchant for diss tracks is unmatched. For others, it's because of the power and influence that they wield within the rap community. Regardless of the reason, these rappers maintain relatively protected from typical rap drama. However, that doesn't mean that the occasional brave soul won't try it, for better or for worse. Before we get started, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel. Now, here are 8 rappers no one wants beef with. Number 8. Jay-Z. Hip-hop heads will remember a time when Jay-Z was caught up in quite a few beefs of his own. Most famously, Jay and Nas were tied up in a long-running feud that would birth the track Ether, commonly considered to be one of the best disses ever recorded. But in 2021, Jay-Z is one of the elder statesmen in rap. Very few people even dare to criticize Hove, let alone put it down on wax. It makes sense. With over 20 years of experience as one of hip-hop's most innovative and talented MCs, it's hard to find reasons to diss him. But even if you did, you might want to think twice. Jay-Z is rap's first billionaire, owns his own record label, and even runs his own streaming service. Finding yourself permanently on the bad side of an artist with that much industry influence might just mean you never hear your song played in the club again, or on any streaming platform's playlist. These days, the closest thing to a Jay-Z beef we've seen has been with Kanye West, who went on a series of bizarre rants against Hove during his Life of Pablo tour. Despite some admitted bad blood between the two artists, Hove himself claims they've reconciled. Even if everything is resolved between the two, I wouldn't wait around for Watch the Throne 2. Number 7. 50 Cent. Let's make something clear. There is a lot of reasons to worry about dissing 50 Cent. Some include his long history of feuds in the industry, his close alliance with Eminem, and his penchant for occasionally overreacting. However, the reason every artist fears becoming one of 50's targets is simple. He just doesn't quit. 50 Cent might be the pettiest man in rap. While rap beefs usually live and die over the course of a year or two, 50 Cent has been holding on to some beefs so long, it's possible he doesn't know how they started. 50 has been beefing with Ja Rule since 1999, and it's still going on. The G-Unit boss even bought 200 tickets to Ja Rule's concert just to ensure that the front 2 rows stayed empty. Likewise, it took over a decade for the rapper to finally get over his anger towards The Game. Initially close friends who collaborated on several tracks, the two got into beef in the early 2000s simply because The Game wouldn't support 50's other beefs. That's right, 50 Cent got into beef because of his other beef. Over that time, the two artists traded dozens of diss records and didn't bury the hatchet until 2018. So be careful, if you end up in 50's crosshairs, you might never leave them. Number 6. Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane remains one of the most revered artists from Atlanta, and is credited with playing a massive role in trap music's early development. He directly served as a major influence on artists like Migos, Young Thug, 21 Savage, and countless others, and holds the record for most top 10 albums on the rap Billboard charts. And while all of those are great reasons to not mess with the man who's been described as, quote, the avatar of the South, it's Gucci's personal reputation that kept him free of beef for many years. Even in the early phases of Gucci's nationwide fame, he found himself unable to escape the criminal activity that he was involved in during his youth. This, however, landed the rapper in and out of jail for a good portion of his early career. But the event that solidified Gucci as someone to be feared happened in 2005. The victim of a robbery setup, Gucci Mane famously shot and killed an attacker in DeKalb County, and then hid the body with his associates. The rapper turned himself into the authorities shortly after the incident, and managed to beat the charge under the grounds of self-defense. Plenty of rappers talk about killing people, and some undoubtedly have, but few have done it in such a public and documented way that makes you think twice before ever crossing someone. Number 5. The Game. The Game is kind of like the Simpsons of rap. If you haven't been name-checked on him in a song, you haven't made it yet. Over the course of his career, The Game has name-checked literally hundreds of rappers. Sometimes his shoutouts are complimentary, but more often than not, he has something to say. The game has earned a reputation for saying exactly what's on his mind exactly when it's on his mind, and no one is safe. As we mentioned earlier, the game has been signed to G-Unit in the early 2000s when he refused to blindly agree with a series of disses made by label head 50 Cent. The resulting fallout was massive, plunging the two into a decade-long feud that included diss tracks like 300 Bars, where the game takes aim at G-Unit for nearly 18 full minutes. Over the course of his career, the game has also set his sights on Chris Brown, Meek Mill, and even industry boogeyman Suge Knight. The game's hot-headedness means there are very few people he won't call out. And you know what they say, crazy beats skill almost every time. Number 4, Kendrick Lamar. Ever since Kendrick Lamar made waves with his verse on Big Sean's Control, one thing has been clear. He isn't looking for acceptance from his peers. Since then, Lamar has developed a reputation as one of the most innovative and provocative modern rappers. His albums have been hailed as some of the most important contemporary musical works, and he even became the first rapper to ever win a Pulitzer Prize. Additionally, the rapper is notoriously reclusive, rarely appearing out in public functions, clubs, or even award shows. All things considered, it makes K-Dot a pretty hard target to aim at. First, you'd have to find a reason to beef with him, and then you'd have to ask yourself if you want to beef with one of the most respected and technically skilled rappers in the world. As you may guess, few rappers have ever taken that bait. Even some of Kendrick's most famous beefs, such as the tension between him, Drake, and J. Cole, stems from a fierce sense of competitiveness, and not true personal grievance. That being said, we'd love to see the big three on a track together again. Number 3, Drake. Drake's legacy has been the center of much debate over the past 10 years. The rapper has seen a share of highs and lows, credited for innovating the rap game, breaking massive sales records, and becoming continually plagued by scandals and ghostwriting rumors. Despite the constant debate over whether Drizzy deserves to be remembered as one of rap's GOATs, there's one thing that can't be denied. There is no rapper more famous than Drake in 2021. Drake's influence in the rap game can't truly be overstated. A simple feature from the artist has launched careers, and he keeps company with everyone from LeBron James to Virgil Abloh. There is no doubt that Drake has the influence and petty spirit that could blacklist an artist who is not on his level. Additionally, Drake has shown that he is no slouch when it comes to defending himself. Drizzy is the master of subliminals, with literally hundreds of sneak disses hidden throughout every record he's released since the beginning. Famously, he's also the first rapper to win a Grammy for a rap diss, with the track Back to Back, aimed at his one-time enemy, Meek Mill. That's not to say that Drake is the most skilled technical rapper, or known for his particularly savage putdowns. The rapper has even admitted to being bested a couple times, which we'll touch on in just a second. But for the average rapper, Drake just has too many resources and connections to take the risk. Number 2, Pusha T. If the average rapper is afraid to take on Drake because of his status within the industry, then Pusha T is not the average rapper. The two have been beefing on and off for the better part of 10 years, all between a convoluted feud between their respective labels. Pusha made major waves when he finally explicitly dissed Drake on the song Infrared, which sparked a full-blown beef. The two exchanged records, which ultimately resulted in the revelation that Drake had fathered a child, a move that drew Pusha T tons of criticism and even more attention. Pusha has proved time and time again that he is an amazingly talented lyricist, with little to no fear about who he targets. Drake has even admitted that Pusha won the battle. But perhaps the most terrifying thing about Pusha T is his seemingly insatiable hunger. He has spoken openly about feeling underappreciated and underrespected in the industry, and will do nearly anything to prove his status. Over the course of his career, the rapper has also set sights on nearly every single Young Money label associate, including rap legend Lil Wayne, which some people thought was justified and others thought was just clout chasing. Number 1, Eminem. There are few rappers who even come close to being as controversial as Eminem. For most of the late 90s and early 2000s, Eminem was every suburban mom's absolute nightmare. Completely crass, totally outspoken, and insanely petty. Eminem has painted a target on the back of almost every celebrity to exist. When Eminem broke into the scene, he completely rejected the notion of polite society and began to release songs, disses, and skits that aimed to be as shocking and rude as possible. And it worked. All the while, the rapper was honing his skills and earning himself a reputation as one of the most talented and technically versatile rappers to ever live. For the most part, the average modern rapper won't even dare risk dissing Eminem, and that's due to his insanely prolific run of beefs throughout the 2000s. Back in the day, it seemed like Eminem was involved in another high-profile beef every other day. The rapper went head-to-head with Ja Rule, Benzino, Everlast, Nick Cannon, Mariah Carey, and even Christina Aguilera. And with very few exceptions, M won every single beef. Some of his more savage tracks included Quit or Hit 'Em Up against Whitney Ford of Everlast, and Nail in the Coffin against Benzino. Simply listening to those songs paint a perfect picture of Eminem's no-holds-barred mentality that make him a force to beef against. In fact, his beefs against Benzino, Ja Rule, and Machine Gun Kelly quite literally impacted the losing artists' careers, with the latter claiming M went as far as having him blacklisted from any Shade 45 owned radio stations. Eminem is one thing. You have a whole other problem if he decides to bring out Slim Shady. Did we forget to mention anyone in this video? Let me know in the comments. And before you leave, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to our channel.